Incredible.
Oh man, good to see you guys. I can feel the reverb. I'm in a different room, I swear to God. Sounds weird on my headphones. It's good to see you guys. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Got some nice Saturday night action going on. Should be pretty good. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I think 3 or 4 days ago, one of the news outlets widely known for being kind of, I don't know if they're bottom of the barrel, but they're pretty close. They're not that good. The Daily Mail. I think one of our friends, True Crime Bloke, called it the Daily Fail. So that's kind of why they have that nickname. So they came out and they said a lot of information. Probably not true. Probably not true. But we're going to take a look. I haven't even read the full article yet, so we'll do that together. Man, it's good to see you guys. Shout out to Corzer, Bridge Burner, Reach, Geek Mom, Man Cake, Mental Capacity. So glad that you guys made it. What's up, James? Good to see you, James. Didn't see you come on in here. Dead City Rats. What's up, man? Oh, boy. Tanisha. Good to see you, Tanisha. Yeah, guys. Have any of you guys seen it? What do you guys think? I did do a poll. Let me see what the results are here. I think we might be able to see something. Any of you guys able to catch Tom Webster's live stream early on today? Had to have been a good one. I didn't go, but probably a good one. Okay, let's see. Go ahead and end this. Oh, what the hell's going on? 7% of you guys think the Daily Mail sources are not full of poops. 93% of you guys, though. Looks like we're right on there. Yeah, so the Daily Mail source, 93% chance, in our opinion, collectively. They're just full of poops. So full of it. Interesting. Interesting. All right. Let's see this article. Also, yeah, if anybody wants to call in, hang out with me, say anything that you have on this topic or subject, let me know. Let me know. Okay. Exclusively poop. Murdered Delphi teens were intended victims of a botched child sex kidnap plot. Apparently, that's what cops believe, as investigators dig up a dead cat to match hairs found on the girls to alleged killer's pet. It's like Snuffles. Okay. We got some beautifully laid out bullet points here for us too. Richard Allen was allegedly part of a child sex ring that planned to kidnap and rape Libby German and Abby Williams, 14 and 13, 2017. Allen has ties to pedophile Kegan Kline, who was previously named as a suspect. So here's where it gets into the, the murkiness. Is there really a connection there? Both have also been linked to Ron Logan. The girls were found on his property. Excuse you? Okay, we're getting in there. About two. Yeah, we're 2 for 3 in bullshit. Source says that police dug up Allen's cat to match hairs found on the girls' bodies. Okay. Do you guys know that all it takes is to know that Richard Allen had a cat and not a dog? Do you know how easy it is to lie about that? This is so dumb. Man, so let's see here again. Allen has ties to Kegan Kline. Okay. Does he really? Both have also been linked to Ron Logan. Really, have they? And it was Alan's dead cat that got dug up. Okay, guys. Murdered Delphi teenagers Liberty German and Abigail Williams were victims of a botched kidnapping plot hatched by members of a local pedophile ring. This is just one of a host of disturbing new details and allegations that can be exclusively revealed by DailyMail.com, including gruesome details about how the girls died and that police dug up the prime suspect's dead cat in an effort to match hairs found on their bodies. The revelations come just 2 weeks after authorities released a redacted version of the probable cause, which led to Alan's arrest. Alan, who's 50 years old, was charged on 2 counts of murder, as we know, on the 28th of October, and that was 5 years after 14-year-old Libby and 13-year-old Abby were found dead, as we know. DailyMail.com has learned that shortly after his arrest, one of Alan's neighbors recalled seeing police digging in his yard. Now, DailyMail.com has been told they were digging up the family's dead cat, whose hair proved a match for the samples found on one of the victims. Such an unverified mess. Carroll County Prosecutor Nicholas McClellan has openly stated that he believes Alan is not the only actor involved in this. Well, I'm pretty sure that was Doug Carter, but good try, idiots. These guys, man. It's been 8 minutes. I'm already really mad. Something about Delphi just makes me really, really mad, dude. I just want to go out there and start ripping stuff up. Dude, it's good to see you, Otto. Ryan, good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. Heck yeah. Happy that you guys made it. And while Alan has not been charged with kidnapping, prosecutors have alleged he attempted it. Now, sources close to the investigation have claimed that Alan was acting with at least 2 other men and was involved in a child sex ring. Last month, DailyMail.com revealed pedophile Kegan Kline, 28, of Peru, Indiana, who's currently awaiting trial on a slew of CP charges, was cooperating with state police and prosecutors in a bid to reduce his own charges. Sources told DailyMail.com that the girls met Kegan online and he arranged to meet them there that day, but didn't go. Instead, he set them up to be kidnapped for the porn ring. This is just so hard to read, man. So hard to read. So let me get this straight. This source tells these poopers, the DailyMail.com, this source says the girls met Kegan Kline online and he arranged to meet them that day but didn't go. Instead, he set them up to be kidnapped. So tell me please, why the murder sheet source says that Kegan Kline admitted to being there that day in a vehicle waiting for the killer. So you got 2 wonderfully good sources that are so verified, but they're saying the exact opposite shit. Is this some kind of sick joke? Yeah, this is what it looks. It sounds like a compilation of rumors in a comment section. Sounds like Lee Kerr threw up a Delphi subreddit, just sent it in email format to these guys. Ridiculous. During one of several police interviews reviewed by the DailyMail.com, Kline admitted to soliciting underage girls for nude pictures by catfishing them, posing as a teenage girl, Emily Ann, or the hunky actor model, Anthony Schatz. It was Schatz that he communicated with German. Chillingly, Schatz was one of the last people to communicate with the girls before they took their fateful walk on Delphi's Monon High Bridge Trail. Police interrogating Kline told him that they did not believe that he committed the murders, but was protecting the identity of whoever did. Now the source has revealed that Kline has cut a deal with prosecutors. So here's another thing that is definitely not verified. So when you think, Jesus criminy, I don't even know where to start. This is just such a mess. Let's take it back to the murder sheet and their verified beautiful source. So when they say that Kegan Kline admitted openly himself that he was waiting in a red Jeep the day of the murders. He was waiting for the murderer. How? Okay, so we got that. And that just totally goes against every single thing that this source is saying. But let's talk about the charges being dropped. So I've said this before, you can't say it 100% because there's many reasons or options why they would drop his charges. They don't have to drop his charges because they made a deal. They could easily just be making the court process a lot easier. You know what I'm saying? Especially when they get through the book at him, over 30 charges, maybe they just, they definitely wanna make court run a little bit smoother maybe. Dropping a little bit of the stacked charges possibly, I don't know. Burf, dude, what's up, Burf? What's up, Charles? DNA King, dude, good to see you guys. Thank you for coming tonight. Okay, the search warrants on Allen's home and property were carried out based on Keegan's testimony. So they're saying Keegan led them directly to Allen conclusively. Indiana State Police Carroll County spokesman Sergeant Jerry Piers would neither confirm nor deny any of the details when put to him by dailymail.com. So why would they put it out? These guys are just butt wipers, I swear to God. He said law enforcement has not released any of those details or anything beyond what's in the probable cause. The source claims that Kline, from whose devices police retrieved a slew of CP, knows Allen and that the men met when they both lived in Peru, roughly 40 miles northwest of Delphi. So does anybody at all have proof that Richard Allen lived in Peru? Is that a possibility? Because as far as I know, he lived in Peru County for a short time and his marriage certificate has Mexico City on it, which is in Peru County. Miami County, sorry. Of course, that's where Peru is. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. Maybe the same county for a short... What is this bullshit that's out here? And the fact that Kline would have been like 14 or 15 or 13 or something around that time, that doesn't really mean anything. I mean, you look at him and his father, he's probably been doing nasty, nasty, horrible shit since he was in diapers, but this is really ridiculous. Nobody can prove any of this. Unless I'm wrong, you guys let me know. Rick Snay, man, he's Tony's best friend. No sympathy for those kind of people. I don't care how quirky he is. People who are making shit up in true crime, they can get effed. The source also claims that both men knew Ron Logan. Oh, man. Whom first police pegged as a suspect in the killings after the girl's body were found on his property, about 1,400 feet from his home. An FBI search warrant served on Logan's home and property dated March 17th to 17 revealed that on February 14th, the day after the killings, Logan asked a relative to provide him with a false alibi. He told a cousin to say that a friend had picked him up and taken him to the fish store between 2 and 2:30, and he didn't return home until 5:30. So asking for an alibi when a crime isn't known to the public yet, yeah, that's very shady, and I'll give them that much. Old man Logan, man. The last time the girls were known to be alive was 2:13 p.m. when German made a brief cell phone recording of the now infamous bridge guy approaching with the words, "Guys, down the hill." Logan's alibi was shown to be a lie, and text messages retrieved from his phone showed that he was out of his house and in the vicinity of the murders on the evening of the 13th. This is just so ridiculous. You know? In the vicinity of the murders. Is that within a half-mile radius? Is that right there? These guys. The FBI document also noted that Logan asked his relative to lie for him the following morning before the crimes were even discovered. It said that, obviously, sometimes that does point to culpability. So Logan lied at the age of 84 on January 24th, 2022, and was never named as a suspect. But now sources have told Daily Mail that Logan, who had a history of violence against women, was involved. These guys should be sued because if Logan has no violent criminal past on his record, this is just even more bullshit. Man, anybody can say anything about anybody. For them to go on and quote them saying, oh yeah, Ron Logan had a violent history with women. No, he didn't. Not as far as I know. According to the source, investigators believe that the plan had been for Allen to kidnap the girls and bring them to Logan's home, where he had, and allegedly Klein, would rape them. This is so fucking dumb. They said the girls were supposed to be kidnapped for the sex ring, but something went wrong, and he knifed and raped one and almost decapitated the other. These sources, they're taking a little bit of what's been put out online already, and they're just, this is character assassination. This is complete bullcrap. Logan and Klein never met the girls. I bet Logan never met Klein. What the hell are you talking about? Police have been tight-lipped about the girls' cause of death, saying that only there was a lot of blood at the scene. But now DailyMail.com has been told that the murder weapon was a knife and that both girls bled out. Really, you couldn't gather that from the Ron Logan search warrant, I guess. Speaking well ahead of the probable cause affidavit's release, the source revealed that the girls were killed near the river. Information since confirmed, but then moved and posed naked under a tree. Man, all these are deductions from anybody who's been following the case for a long time, mixed with their own fantasy. This is bullshit, man. I hate this. The FBI search warrant served on Logan's home also included law enforcement's belief that the killer may have taken souvenirs. Wow, look at this one. DailyMail.com has been told that underwear and a cell phone were taken from the scene. What do they mean that a cell phone was taken from the scene? So there's only stupid rumors, untruths, that Abby had a phone. She probably didn't even have a phone. And we know for sure that Libby's phone was recovered from the scene, for sure. So this is, that's complete bullshit. And then you get to the underwear, and we know that on the police scanner, they found undergarments near the bridge, cigarette butts, all that stuff. We do know that underwear and a sock was taken from the search warrant anyway. This is such a letdown, man. Such a journalism letdown. The newly released probable cause affidavit also reveals that one of the girls could be heard saying the word gun. Again, something we can all deduct for ourselves if we follow the case for a while. And according to the source, the killer was wearing a gun on his waistband. Police recovered a Sig Sauer Model P226, as well as knives from Allen's home. Allen's wife, Kathy, confirmed that the weapons were his. Forensic testing of an unspent round found near the girl's bodies shows that it had been cycled through Allen's gun. According to the probable cause affidavit, even though the bullet had never been fired, it bore telltale and unique signs of having been in Allen's weapon. The affidavit states, between October 14th and October 19th, 2022, the ISP laboratory performed an analysis on that Sig Sauer Model P226. The laboratory performed a physical examination and classification of the firearm, a function test, barrel and overall length measurement, a test firing, ammunition component characterization, microscopic comparison, and NIBIN, National Integrated Ballistic Information Network. The laboratory determined that the unspent round collected and located within 2 feet of victim 2's body had been cycled through Richard's Sig Sauer model gun. Allen could not explain how a bullet that had been through his gun could have ended up there. He denied ever having been on the property or having lent his gun to anybody. And again, he has never denied killing the girls. He hasn't denied that that bullet is his. He denies knowing how it got there. Allen has strenuously denied any involvement in the killings. No, he hasn't. You're an idiot. According to the probable cause affidavit, several youngsters saw him there ahead of the murders. His lawyers say that he's simply the wrong guy. They've dismissed the probable cause affidavit as flimsy and described the forensics relating to the unspent bullet as junk science. Allen is also someone who his lawyers have asserted in a newly filed motion stands no chance of a fair hearing should his trial be conducted in Carroll County. They argue that the likelihood of a tainted jury pool should it be drawn from the girls in Allen's home county, it's excessive. That's what they say. They state that the best way to ensure a fair trial is to move it at least 150 miles away. The judge has yet to rule on the motion. A bond hearing for Allen, who is currently being held without bond, has been set for February 17th, and he's set to go to trial March 20th, 2023. And we all know that Kegan Klein's trial is also right around the corner. So there we go. That is the article. I wasn't able to read your chat. Oh man, I'm so glad to see you guys. What do you guys think? They have released zero new info. Absolutely. Or correct info. Not just new, but, rumors, old rumors, I guess. Yeah, I used that word kind of loosely. A journalism letdown. Wouldn't even call this journalism. Or like just talking shitism. I don't know what the hell they're doing over there. Man. Let's see. I think Little Joe runs the Daily Mail. You might be right. He might be on there. Yeah, Mike, for somebody to call Ron Logan, a sexual deviant, I've heard people say that he has a sock drawer full of panties. He has a locked door in his house, a panty room. Come on, guys. And then you have one ex-girlfriend saying the most horrible shit about him in the world. Anybody can say anything. If he's not charged, they're ridiculous for putting that information out there. Rick Snay is not quirky. He is just a self-centered habitual liar who is starved for attention. He is 10 pounds of shit in a 9-pound bag. Hey, nice. Bud, coming in spicy with it. Let's see. Yeah, so Allen has lived in Delphi since around 2006. I think you're right. He would have met Kegan Kline when he was in middle school. Again, the fact that Kegan Kline being young isn't really the problem for me at all. The problem is just in general, they're trying to base, if they were in the same location around the same time, there was also thousands of other people in that area. How do they know that they were connected? I mean, it's really ridiculous to me. And that's what they like to do. They put stuff out that can neither be proven or disproven because they like to do that. It's happened in the past and it won't stop. It happens every day in the Delphi community. So annoying. Mike says, ask yourself this. Why wouldn't Richard clean up at Ron's? If they were a team, also, he could have hid his car at Ron's. It makes no sense. Mike, it does make no sense. No sense at all. Not even a little bit. Oh, man. Mental capacity. I swear. Are you calling me mom? I swear. You say mom a few times. It's like not the first time. Who are you referring to as mom? I got to know mental. Oh, man. If the queen were still alive, she would have died if she saw one of her news outlets writing this. Long live the queen. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Exactly. That's what it is. This crap is written for people who have no idea about the case. It's so dangerous, man. People who hear that, they'll believe it. It's like so believable and it's so wrong. They have not cleared Ron. No, sir, Mr. Grizz. They have not cleared anybody. Yeah. Yep, there was info about Logan allegedly being violent towards an ex from a hearsay statement by a lady in an interview conducted by the FBI member. So even though they used that in the public, sorry, even though they used that information to get a search warrant, it doesn't mean it's true. They have to get a judge to sign off. And that's part of what I was trying to apply that to Allen's probable cause affidavit, because when they start talking about the light blue jacket, the dark clothes, the different witnesses who saw him, the walking away bloody and muddy, those could be very true witness statements, but also they're not, people, who's to know that they're remembering everything properly. And they wrote that affidavit up in such a way that they didn't need to divulge any more information. They use what they have so they don't have to release anything else. And that's exactly what they did with, Ron Logan's ex-girlfriend. Because do you remember in that search warrant, they also said that Ron Logan had the very same fanny pack. Guys, it's not even a damn fanny pack. But that made it into the search warrant affidavit, you know? Know what I'm saying? Just because it's in there doesn't mean that it's true. It means that it helps to get, to get the judge to sign off. Hey, dude, Sean Harmon's son. What's up, dog? Good to see you, man. Yep. You're right, man. The only connection to Ron Logan is the murders happening on his property. Period. End of story, Rickens. I can't believe it. I just can't believe these guys. I can't fit my stupid head around it. Do you know how long it's been? Why did they wait for Ron Logan to die and then do this? Fuck, man. It makes me so edgy. Okay, guys, okay. I'm going to put links in the description. I forgot to today, but I want to play 3 videos. One of them is from True Crime Bloke. He did a video strictly about the Daily Mail. Crime Scene to Courtroom. He did another video about an Alan Klein connection, and I wanted to give him another chance because I got kind of mad the last time I played his content. And the other one was from Southern Law. We watched his content last time on here. He was a gun expert going through his guns, playing with his toys. Should be a good one. So give me just a moment here. Okay. Here we are.
Hello again, friends. I see a lot of people talk about this Daily Mail article. First and foremost, I want to say this. If you're a UK resident, which most of you are not, the Daily Mail and the Sun and the Telegraph, they're all propaganda. Half of the stories aren't real, half of the stories are clickbait. And I do have doubts about this. Like, why would Daily Mail in the UK know about a case in Indiana before anyone in Indiana does? Like, let's just think of that for a second. I know lots of people are using this as a way to be like, this is fact. No, guys, it's called the Daily Fail for a reason, yeah. So I'm gonna go through it, okay? May not have acted alone. We know this from the trial. Judge delays decision. We know this. Double killer remains behind bars. We know this. Richard Allen appeared at the Carroll County Courthouse for a legal hearing on Tuesday to determine if he'll be released. He won't be. He is accused of murdering Libby and Abby in Delphi, posing their.
Wait a second. Guys, this is a different Daily Mail article. This isn't a rerun. I think Bloke has taken on a whole different article than I did. I mean, I think they probably edited and revised, though. It looks like kind of the same thing. Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. We got it. We're going.
Their
Getting them.
bodies. We know this. Prosecutor said during the 30-minute court hearing that Alan may not have acted alone. We know this. Bringing up Ron Logan. Whoop-de-doo. People are excited over that. Hey,
He
Judge
said,
Special Judge
whoop-de-doo.
Francis Gull ruled that she would decide whether to
Whoop-de-doo.
unseal. She did. She did in the end. She also set a bail hearing on Alan for February next year, which is a month before the trial. He'll be of flight risk. I doubt he will get bail. And yeah, okay, so Richard Allen could have an accomplice. We know this. He's accused of murdering the girls. We know this. Not the only one involved. We know this. Just repeated themselves. Clickbait.
Yeah, that's a good question, man. I wish I would have prepared. I would have had a lot better, like specific answers for you. But so the deal with the possible second car at the CPS building was kind of weird. It could be a PT Cruiser style, something that resembles a smart car type of deal. But like specifically, Brad Heath, one of the witnesses there that day, and some other witnesses, there was actually two cars, cited that day. One of them was parked in a little funky right at the CPS building, and there was another one that was kind of abandoned on the side of the road. And as far as I know, it was kind of between the CPS building and the Freedom Bridge area, but I could be wrong. As a matter of fact, I think I'll make sure that I get some details and we'll revisit that next time I do one of these. Because I'm already planning for my next stream on Delphi. I'm gonna go through Kegan Kline and Tony Klein's criminal past. And if you guys have any questions or topics you want me to bring up, just bring them up and I'll definitely try to answer them the best I can. Kanga Blue, good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Sherry, thank you so much for coming in tonight. Yeah, I hope you guys are all doing really good. We're just listening to True Crime Bloke right now. He's breaking down an article by the Daily Mail.
We believe Richard Allen is not the only actor. Repeat, yeah, we know. Ron Logan, who died in 2022, had been the prime suspect. Keegan Klein was also named the possible murderer. We know this. Allen was given court-appointed lawyers. We know this. Sending a handwritten letter. We know this. A judge in Indiana put off his bail hearing until next year. We know this. Like, come on. There's nothing new here. They're just reciting old stuff and adding some rumors to it. So at the moment, I'm not too confident in the page that I've been told about. Reasonable bail amount will be considered. They've said that already. Currently, the only details are that his initial bail was 20 million. We know this. There's him, scumbag, little man with a goatee. Shave your chin, mate. I did. The girls, the judge. He has pleaded not guilty. We know this. Still his arrest warrant until recently. We know this. Gag order. We know this. Andrew Baldwin, defense attorney for Allen, says that he is the wrong guy. We know he said that. He's the lawyer. He's paid to do so. Do you expect more than I saw? His a bullet came out of his gun that he's never shared with anyone. So we know this. Come on. I'm going to sound like a broken record. Though prosecutors did not name any potential accomplices, both Logan and Clyde have been linked. Yes, so this is rumor and hearsay. We know this. Both girls' body, which are thought to have been posed, were discovered on Logan's property just 1,400 feet from the house. It was revealed over the summer that his alibi for the day of the murder did not line up. We know this. His home was searched. He wasn't arrested or charged. We know this. The voice in the clip was described as not being consistent with that of Logan. We know this because Logan is not the man on the bridge. Let's be honest. That's not a dark goatee or a dark mustache. And it's a younger man on the bridge. We know this. Or some do. There's him again. This is the timeline. That's him at the court hearing. That's him. We know this. We know this. We know this. He is said to have admitted talking to Libby German using a fake profile called Anthony Shots. We know this. Heavy set and pasty face. Damn, man. Used an image of a ripped and muscular young man to trick the underage girl speaking to him. He is said to have arranged to meet Libby on the Delphi High Bridge, Monon High Bridge, before she was murdered, walking along it. No, she was sent down the hill. So there you go. These people don't know what they're talking about. They're called the Daily Fail. They're here for a tabloid and a couple clicks and some ad revenue. Let's be honest. Klein is arrested on child porn charges. We know this. Like, there's nothing breaking in this article I've been told about and that people have streamed about. There's literally nothing new here. It's just hearsay presented as fact, and people are like, "Wow, this is fact, guys." I get shtick all the time for being a Brit. A British tabloid posts something, and you're like, "Gospel, come on, man, don't be hypocrites. Come on, come on." There's nothing new this article. Speaking to the US Sun, like I said, the Sun and the Daily Mail, they're not to be trusted. They're tabloids. They're tabloids, guys. They chat a load of tosh. Same with the Telegraph. I don't want to say anything that will jeopardize. We know this. We know this. This is something about a dead cat as well, which I will find. Okay, forgive me. This is the actual article, yeah? Exclusive. Murdered teens were victims of botched kidnap S plot. Dug up dead cat to match hairs on girls to alleged pet. Where have the police said this? Because this is a tabloid. Where have the police said it? Well, let's have a look for the source. Let's have a look. So it's the same old that I've just read through. Same old, but I want to get to the dead cat part. Where's the dead cat part? You know what? Let's make it easy.
Molaventura presenta.
Oh, Malaventura. Yay. Take it away, bloke. Take
Here
it.
we go.
All right.
Nice and simple. I'll bring this up for you. So, forgive me. Now, Daily Mail, who have been told they were digging up the family's dead cat, who proved a match for the victims. Who said this, Daily Mail? Who told you this? Where's the source? Where's the source? Daily Mail has learned that Alan's neighbour saw digging up the cat. Now, Daily Mail have been told digging up the family's dead cat whose hair proved a match for the samples. Who told you this? Who told you this? The prosecutors? The police? Who told you this? Who told you? Like, they won't say anywhere who told them because it's hearsay. They can tell themselves as long as newspapers say we have a source. They're free of libel. That's why they do it. They get clicks, they get a bit of ad revenue, they apologize, and then they do it all over again. So, guys, come on. I mean, this is a tabloid post bikini girls who post about celebrity drama. It's a tabloid paper. Last month, Daily Mail revealed that Keegan Klein, who is currently awaiting trial, was cooperating with police. Yeah, from the police. The police told you that. Have the police told you about the dead cat? I really doubt it. Where is the statement? I'll search it up. Guys, there's nothing new to these articles. I know lots of people are saying, "Oh yes, it's been confirmed by the paper." Dude, it's a newspaper.
Exactly. You know, some of these sources, their narratives fit really well with some of the public stuff going on. And this source sounds exactly like somebody who's trying to push their book idea. So weird. Also, yeah, that's what I was just gonna say, man, Cake, when I heard that about needing a warrant for searching. Some people either are just nice and old, search without a warrant, or some people like Alan, possibly, or just random other people. They'll let you. They're cocky. They'll let you search without a warrant. They'll let you question them without a lawyer. They think they're smarter than everyone. I don't know, man. I don't think you need a warrant if somebody's willing, but I get exactly what you're saying. All I'm saying is that if there was, these documents or records, not only would they be sealed, but at this point, a lot of them are probably inexistent and made up and just a bunch of poop. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how I feel. But okay, that was a really short one by Bloke. Let's go ahead and check out another one here. Let's see. Yeah, that book guy. I don't know. There's too many. I don't even know who's the worst. Tell you what I'd like to do though. I'd like to hop in a freaking octagon with my hand and my balls tied behind my back. I bet I could take all four of them on with my pinky because they're all just such idiots. That makes no sense. I can't even do this without getting so mad, guys. I can't even control myself. Can't even control it anymore. I swear these guys have the biggest problems. Never seen people, humans, with problems bigger than this. Okay. All right.
So in this video,
Yeah, this is Crime Scene to Courtroom. As I said, we were going to play one of their pieces of content, about an 18-minute video. Title: The Delphi Murders, Allen and Klein. So I haven't watched this, but of course I'm assuming that may go over some possible, or speculating some kind of connection between the two. So, all right. Georgina, good to see you, Georgie. All righty.
I want to take a look at the behaviour of both Richard Allen and Keegan Klein post the murders of Abigail Williams and Liberty German. Now, the best place, I believe, to start with this is the fact that we have Richard Allen coming forward to a conservation officer, giving some details after these murders and basically putting himself at the scene of the crime. He said, yes, I was there that day. I parked up at the old farm building. I was wearing a blue jacket and blue jeans. I was on the bridge for a period of time watching some fish. And then I basically made my way home. I didn't see the girls. I didn't see Abigail or Liberty during my walk. I did happen to pass a few other individuals, but I certainly didn't see the two girls in question. Now, over the past few weeks, we've had a lot of discussion regarding why Richard Allen would commit these murders and then come forward to the police, almost handing himself in a weird sort of way. Now, there are multiple ways in which you can look at this. Either this was someone who was fearful, he was concerned that he'd been seen by a certain amount of people, those people are going to be giving descriptions, and they might turn up on his doorstep, and the fact that he hasn't come forward would look incredibly suspicious. Or you could take the other stance, which is that maybe this person wanted to insert himself into this investigation. Maybe he got something from this. Maybe he got.
And then also the other options, how most of this is rumors, but I'm sure he'll cover that possibly. Phil Bond, good to see you, man. Thank you for coming in tonight. Jerry, always a pleasure to see you. Hope you're doing really good. Going good here. Going good here. Not too bad. Not too bad. Just hanging out, debunking, and funking around. That's all we're doing.
Some sort of sick thrill from this. Not only had he committed these two terrible murders, but now he's almost hoodwinking the authorities. He's inserting himself into the investigation. He's pallying up with those people who are actually looking for him. Now, my interpretation of why Richard Allen came forward to law enforcement is simply because he was concerned. He was worried by the fact that he'd been seen by those juvenile females near Freedom Bridge. He was concerned that they'd got a good look at his face and that he may be identified at a later date.
I think that is 100% accurate. I think that's a perfect deduction. Why would Richard Allen put himself at the crime, turn himself in as a witness, and say that he was there that day? Probably because he was seen. Probably because he was seen. I think that's a great deduction and probably exactly right. Anybody else have any other ideas why Richard would do that? I think he covered that, there are people, of course, that insert themselves into crimes for no reason other than notoriety or to feel like they're getting one over on the police. But Allen doesn't seem like that to me. Because since he inserted himself this one time to law enforcement, to that conservation officer, he didn't have a history of doing that. And the closest thing we have to him inserting himself anywhere is where he would, take a picture of himself behind that bridge guy sketch, or he would, have that picture of his daughter on the bridge. And that's not really inserting, but that's more of a possible kind of duper's delight type of deal. I don't know. But really, yeah. Okay, here's another option. Yeah. Or he told someone that he was going there that day, or he told someone that he was there that day. That's a good option. Yeah. Or because he lost something there, his phone, a bullet. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea. Trying to think of other ways, reasons why he would do that. Hey, Georgina, thank you so much for the super sticker. That is so freaking awesome. Thank you for that. Heck yeah. Keith, are you referring to Richard Allen there about not guilty? Or are you talking about Ron Logan? Or are you talking about yourself or me or my mama? Who are you talking about, Keith?
Combine that with the fact that we also had a passing motorist, a lady who claims that she saw a man wearing a blue jacket and blue jeans covered in mud and blood. He would have been aware, most likely, of that passing car. He would have been aware of those juvenile females that he passed very close to near Freedom Bridge. And after the murders, he's thinking to himself, what do I do now? If these girls are shown photographs of me and they pick me out of some kind of identity parade or whatever, how am I going to explain that I didn't come forward and give the police my whereabouts at the earliest opportunity?
Okay, Keith. Keith, why do you think Alan is innocent? I would really love to hear your opinion. Oh, man. Geek Mom, too. That's also a really good. See, I'm wondering, and I don't think anybody knows indefinitely, except for law enforcement right now, is did Alan come forward before or after the still picture was released? Because I think the still picture on the bridge was released quite early, and it wasn't till way later for the sketches, both sketches and the video. But did he come forward, after that picture was released or before? I think it's very telling. And it could also tell us if law enforcement might have had something up their sleeve or if they were trying to play, games or something, but I doubt it, man. Somehow he slipped under the radar the whole time. And me too, man cake. I want to know what day this guy gave his statement to the conservation officer for real. Oh, man. So many. You mean like the day of the crime, there was a lot of people at the trails? True, true. How many people left a bullet there that was cycled through their gun? How many people had catfishing accounts that planned to meet the victims that day, though? Sure, because, all that really means is that most of the people that were there that day were innocent, right? Yeah, there's no way that you can determine that Richard Allen would be innocent at this point, so I'm definitely asking around. That's kind of that dude is hella guilty. Hella guilty. Looks like the dude on the. I mean, come on, Keith. Are you pulling my finger? What are you doing over there? You yanking my chain? Better not be pulling my finger. You guys, stop messing with me. Absolutely. He's guilty by his own admission of being there at the bridge and by seeing 3 girls. Absolutely. Yep, that's exactly what I meant. Flannel shirt guy, Daniel Pearson, the girls, Cheyenne and Cheryl and all those people. What do you mean though, Jenny? They don't have anything circumstantially that even stacks up to the actual evidence that we have now of Klein's and Allen. I just don't understand your way of thinking of things, some of you guys. Just, it boggles me. Boggles me. And I'm no Peggy Hill. Man. I hope they do some funny stuff to his prison food, too. I might have to go undercover and commit a crime. I'll go get locked up in there and I'll start doing some weird stuff to him. Think I won't? Man, some of it.
Also remember
Better keep going.
that Richard Allen worked out in the public domain.
Never
This
mind,
was
Keith just said
a
something. What do you say?
forward-facing person.
Look, people, I'm a grandfather with a granddaughter that lives only 25 minutes from Delphi. No one wants the right person in prison or worm food than me. Get that straight. Oh, warm food. Pretty sure you don't want worm food. But, I have a lot of people. I'm going to be a grandpa one day. I bet so many people have grandpas and granddaughters and nieces and nephews and babies. That doesn't mean anything about this case, Keith. That's all I'm saying. I believe that you believe it, but I'm just sitting here saying, how on God's green earth could you say that Alan is innocent? Like, that's like a thing I'll bring up to you. I'll be like, okay, you want to talk really quick? And then I'll be like, okay, if you're one of those crazy guys, I'll just have to kick you. And then you'll have to create another account. Come see me tomorrow. It's just going to be a freaking never ending loop, Keith. Wake up and smell the roses, Keith. Wake up. Oh, shit. Well, my statement still stands. I like warm food.
A person who worked at the local CVS store. If one of those individuals at a later date came into his workplace and identified him, went to the police, and then Richard Allen has to explain why he didn't come forward earlier, that's going to put undue pressure on Richard Allen after these murders have been committed. So in Richard Allen's own mind, his safest bet is to appear completely innocent, is to come forward and put himself there that day. Yes, I was there. Yeah, I was there. I was just going for a walk. I often go for a walk in that area. I didn't see the girls. This is what I was wearing. And it's really interesting about the fact that he actually describes exactly what he was wearing. I was wearing a blue jacket. I was wearing blue jeans. But the one thing that we need to remember, what is absolutely paramount, is that Richard Allen most likely had no idea that he'd been caught on Liberty German's cell phone. Now, putting yourself in the position of Richard Allen here again, just for one moment, he believes he's been seen before the murders. He believes he's been seen after these murders. But one thing that he is convinced of at this point in time before he approaches law enforcement is that no one, not one single person has seen him with the girls. No one has seen him talking to the girls. No one has seen him abducting these girls. And no one has seen him killing these girls. So in his mind, to come forward, it's fairly safe. Because yes, there will be a subsection of people that say, yes, I did see a man that day. He was wearing a blue jacket and blue jeans. Okay, that's Richard Allen. He's already come forward. On we go.
Yeah, he's right on it. I mean, I could definitely see that. I think the most plausible answer is he came forward because he remembers being seen that day, most likely. And then also there are some other things, though. He could have forgot something, left something. He could be a cocky, manipulative psychopath who just wants to insert himself. And he could have told somebody that he was there that day. There's so many things. He could have seen that picture. You know, he could have seen the picture and said, oh, shit. I don't know. Usually, though, if you see the picture, you're not going to say, okay, I better go tell them. Pretty nuts. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you for my guest selection process. Yeah, I love all my guests. Uncle Remus, he took it to the hole. Yes, he did.
That's how it plays out in his mind. But what he wasn't expecting, he was not expecting that video. He was not expecting to be on the TV, for his voice to be played, for this individual to be prime suspect number one throughout the country. He was not expecting that. He would never have come forward to the police if he knew of the existence of that video. And isn't it strange that the police, they knew who they were looking for? We're looking for this individual. This is the person that we believe is responsible for the deaths of these two girls. Guys down the hill. Can you imagine what went through his mind when he saw that on the TV, when he saw that on the news? He must have been thinking to himself, well, my days are numbered. They're going to be coming for me in the next hour.
You know what, Jerry, that's a great deduction. Yeah. So if Gray made this, very, very good thinking there. Jerry says that Gray brought up a great point of how he specifically also pointed out sitting on the bench, which is Allen in his statements. So thus, he may have been worried that he left some type of DNA or prints on the bench. That makes a lot of sense. And it also, that's another extra thing that kind of goes to debunking the U-turn theory, because it seems more and more as time goes on that he did kind of approach and stalk from behind. It's my opinion so far, but it makes a little bit more sense than the U-turn theory right now. And I was all for the U-turn theory, honestly, for a long, long time. Yeah, very interesting, guys. Maybe he already did say that he walked the trail, but then he put himself on the bridge. I don't know. Corser thinks so. You're thinking, Corser, that it was more of a what do you call it? Inserting yourself, trying to get more information, fishing for more info type of thing. Yeah, that's a very narcissistic power control thing to do, for sure. Yeah, they did say it, didn't they? And when they were telling us what little profile they had, 2019. And then all of this just in time for the elections, kind of interesting. Oh yeah, hey, I forgot about this one too. Mancake says the bench might be important because there's a witness who took a picture of the bench as well. Yeah, I remember hearing that. Very interesting, guys. Hey, Richard Allen is up Shots Creek without. What does Klein use? Tony uses a paddle on Klein, so that, yeah, without a paddle. Tony uses a paddle on Kagan. I think we got it. Was Allen in the search party? That's another great question. I think we're all wondering ourselves. I don't think he was, as far as I know. I would say no, but who knows? There's fake lists of search parties circulating, so who knows what's going on there either. He's up Schitt's Creek with a turd for a paddle. There you go. The only thing that Keegan uses is a cell phone in alter egos. Yeah. All right.
They'll be here tomorrow to arrest me, and they never arrived, did they? They just never turned up on Richard Allen's doorstep until more than 5 years later. Now, when we take a look at the behaviour of Keegan Klein post the murders of Abigail Williams and Liberty German, it's very, very telling, I believe. Now, we know that both Keegan Klein, he himself and his father went to Vegas shortly after the murders of these two girls. And during that trip, something spooked him. He was really concerned by something that took place. Maybe it's his involvement. Maybe it's his knowledge of what took place. But what we do know is that there was a big press conference held on the 22nd of February 2017. It was when law enforcement released more details about the man that they were looking for, the man on the bridge, the voice of the man on the bridge. And this concerned Keegan Klein, concerned him so much that he wiped one of his devices the very next day, the Samsung device. We have this press conference with new information released on the 22nd of February. The very next day, Keegan Klein is wiping his Samsung phone. He is searching regarding the case. Tips pour in over Delphi killings. He's listening to the man's voice on the bridge over and over again. He's making curious search terms like, how long does DNA last on a body? Now, if Keegan Klein just had some circumstantial connection to this case, and by that I mean he communicated with the girls, but he had absolutely no idea.
Little known fact, this is the original photo. Richard Allen was originally photoshopped out of it and released as a fake source. No, I'm just kidding. Doesn't that look real, though? It looks like Richard Allen's taking a selfie with the Kleins touching each other behind him. That's probably how it really happened. That's my conspiracy theory for the night. That's the original picture.
Idea of any kind of meet that was planned for that day. He had no idea who they were going to meet, and he most definitely didn't have any clue whatsoever who the man on the bridge was. Then why would you be searching for that search term? How long does DNA last on a body? He knows that if this gets back to the person who killed these girls and they find him, he knows that they're also going to find him, that he's connected in this somehow. And I think it all comes back to this iPhone 5, this iPhone 5C. The police, the investigators during Keegan Klein's police interviews seem adamant that Keegan Klein communicated with the girls on at least one occasion with using that iPhone 5. So where was that iPhone 5 when they raided the Klein property when he returned home from Vegas? Who?
Yeah. Unless you're going to college for forensics or you're a police officer in training or a really, really sick bastard like one of us into true crime. I don't know why, but still, there's really no excuse for searching how long does DNA last within the same time frame of also searching for dead juvenile girls, in Sandy Hook and the Marathon gas station, Bridge Guy's voice, articles about the Delphi case. Who searches all that stuff? Oh, wait. Probably somebody who's connected with the crime, right? Yeah, past history of investigations will probably tell us that. It's okay, though. I'm patient like you guys. I can wait.
Who had that phone? Did Richard Allen have that phone? Did Richard Allen return that phone? Did Keegan Klein wipe the phone and then hand that phone in? Is that what happened? How could the police miss that phone on an extensive and thorough search of the Klein property? Is it because that phone wasn't there? And if that phone wasn't there, then who had that phone? Now, when looking at the police interview conducted with Keegan Klein, it's fairly evident that the investigators believe that there was more than one individual communicating with girls. They believe that because of the way in which these communications went, maybe the spelling was different, words that individuals would use when communicating with these girls, but they certainly believed that there was more than one person communicating with these girls via these devices. Now, could this be Keegan Klein, Tony Klein, and Richard Allen? Absolutely. Could this be Keegan Klein and Richard Allen
Could
on
be.
their own? Absolutely.
Oh, snap. Snap. We found the identity of Kellogg. He is a serial poster. Mental capacity. You are a sleuth of a... I'll think of some other cool title for you and I'll give it back to you later. Good find.
But we're led to believe here that there's just some sort of perfect storm which has been created. That Richard Allen just pulls up in his black Ford Focus, makes his way toward the Monon High Bridge and encounters Liberty German and Abigail Williams, two girls who happen to have been communicating with the catfishing account Anthony Shots, which was run by Keegan Klein.
Yeah, and just on the topic of this, I seen a comment there earlier by Jenny. Where is it here? Jenny was saying the only thing that's really blowing her mind is the similarity between Libby and Richard's daughter. I mean, yeah, it's right there. It's undebatable. It's really freaky. It is kind of mind-blowing, huh? Yeah, really twisted. What kind of dark psychology is behind that one, I don't know.
Everything that I read regarding this case is pointing me in the direction of Richard Allen being one of the users of these accounts, being one of the individuals who's communicating with these girls. And I think that's why Keegan Klein was so paranoid, so concerned, so worried during his trip to Vegas, a trip where he's supposed to be relaxing, enjoying his time away with his dad. And yet he is researching the case, looking at the latest news regarding the Delphi murders, resetting a Samsung phone the day after a major press conference concerning these murders. Why would you do that? Why would you be so concerned about the perpetrator being caught? Because he knew, as I said earlier, he knew that as soon as they get Richard Allen, it's all going to come tumbling down. They're going to be coming for him because he's not just a person who is catfishing girls. He is someone who has knowingly allowed access to his devices to a secondary individual who has committed murder. Now, if Keegan Klein played absolutely no part whatsoever in these murders, and I can't really for the life of me work out why Keegan Klein wouldn't be more forthcoming and more honest at an earlier stage, because police have already got him, haven't they? They've already got the devices, they've got the CSAM material, they've got the chat logs, they've got the communication between himself and these girls or Liberty German. Why wouldn't you just say, look, yeah, okay, there is a secondary user, it's this individual, or I've lent my phone out to this person?
Because he knows all the dirty, dirty, nasty stuff that they were doing. That's why. Oh, man. Let's see. Yeah, I was wondering what, You might want to retype that one out, Jenny, because the way I took this is you're saying Kelsey German only came into the picture after law enforcement asked people who are in contact with Anthony Shots account come forward. So who are all these people? That doesn't make sense. Kelsey has been in the public since like the very, very, very beginning. I don't understand that one.
Because he doesn't want that person to speak, does he? Whatever's happened, whatever's taken place is going to come back to him in some way, whether that is, handing out a phone to somebody else, whether that is facilitating the meet for that day. There is some level of concern here from Keegan Klein. Like the searches, I mean, why would you be bothered? Why would you be interested in how long DNA lasts on a body? Because he's concerned about the real person being caught.
Yeah, man. So that was a good video. I'm sure there's a little bit more than half left. I'll go back and drop the links are going to be in the description if anybody's watching this on replay. Good video, good video. I don't know. I think that was some good speculation. I don't really know. I don't really grade people on speculation. I probably got an F myself. But we got one more video we're going to watch. Let's look here. Here we go. Yeah, just 12 hours ago. So hate to suck up this guy's views. So make sure you guys check him out again. The link will be in the description. This is Southern Law. We saw him one of our last shows, and he was just decocking everything for us, showing us how guns work and all that good, great stuff. Perfect. Oh, God, the daily... Just kidding. That's kind of what this show is about. Okay.
Hey, guys, let's take a look at the evidence in the Delphi case. You've probably seen this Daily Mail article that came out the other day that purported to tie up everything with sources close to the case saying that Ron Logan and Keegan Klein and Richard Allen, that they all knew each other. They were all connected. This was a plot that they had to exploit these girls, and it went wrong. And everybody's connected, and there's lots more evidence than what you know about. So there you go. There's all the answers. And that article didn't set.
Okay. So is this what you meant instead of the first one about Kelsey? Okay, so you're saying, why did law enforcement ask everyone to come forward, an official, in December who was in contact with Anthony Shots? And remember, they also mentioned people who Anthony Shots solicited their, asked for their address. They also gave specific towns and cities that they might be in. And they also mentioned that he would also solicit nude pictures from them. But anyways, I mean, are you saying that they should have singled out Kelsey and said everybody except for Kelsey who's been in contact should come forward? I don't understand what your point is, Jenny. Because to me, what it seems like is you're trying to find an excuse to say that Kelsey might be involved because she talked to Anthony Shots and they asked for everybody who talked to Anthony Shots to come forward. As if you expect them to single her out and say, no, not you, though. I'm having a really hard time. And you know how I am. Every time I do one of these shows for the last 2 years, you come in here and do something like this. What are you trying to say, Jenny? What are you trying to say? Help us help you, okay? Help me help you, Jenny.
Right, with a lot of people, and I'm certainly one of those. The first off the bat, of course, there's a gag order in this case, so someone close to the case, material.
In my opinion, they just meant,
particularly if they're on the law enforcement.
So, in my opinion, law enforcement meant anybody who had contact with Anthony Shots to come forward. That's pretty much what they meant, and that's what you literally said. You just thought there was more of a meaning to it, but no. In my opinion, they literally just said, everybody who's talked to the Anthony Shots account come forward because they want everybody who talked to the Anthony Shots account to come forward. Pretty much. That's about it, though.
Enforcement side that would have this evidence. You shouldn't be talking to the media. That's directly against the court's order. So who would do it and why would they do it? How trustworthy are they? I don't know. But then second, downstream from that is how much sense does all this stuff make? Like, can you really just tie all these things up together in a bow? The cat fur, the alleged communications between all these people. I don't know. I don't buy that article. I'm sorry, but I thought, you know, what that ought to do is spur me to look at the evidence again and test my thinking. The theory they had in the article, and also some of the comments people have made on other videos, and just look at this thing in kind of a matrix format. So looking at it here, I think there are kind of 5 areas to look at, and that's before the girls got to the bridge, then when they got there and they're abducted, then there's the crime scene, and then there's directly after the killings. Okay. And then the character of the people who may be involved. Does it suggest involvement in this kind of thing or not? So the Daily Mail article mentioned 3 people that we've all heard of. Richard Allen, who of course has been arrested with the police saying that he was responsible for the abduction, at least, of the girls off the bridge and taken to the crime scene. There's Ron Logan, who owned the property and was the subject of a search warrant with some suspicious, shady behavior. And of course, there's Klein, who
Alleged
was in
behavior
communication with at least one of the girls before the murders occurred.
Not Southern Law, of course, but people like Rick Snay. How come people defend Tony Klein, but they don't defend Ron Logan? Tony Klein is a nasty, nasty boy, nasty pedophile looking guy. And then you got Rick Snay sitting here every single day telling us to look at Ron Logan. Look at Ron Logan, guys. He's dead. He did it. I promise. Don't worry. Don't worry. My sources, I got sources. I can't tell you yet. It's not safe. Got to play it safe, guys. Don't worry. My God.
Trying to exploit her as well as other girls for indecent things and stuff like that. And there was a potential that a meeting was set up. That was certainly part of the interrogation he was involved in. So looking at this, you'd like to be able to take one person and go across the whole way and say, well, this person set up a meeting. This person showed up and abducted the girls. This person was the one who murdered them. This person escaped this way and we tracked them, and they're known to be a bad person. If you had all 5 of those things, that would be kind of the strongest case, right? But the problem is when you look at this, you don't have an individual character who ticks all those boxes. And not that you have to, we'll get into them a little bit more detail, but that would be the easiest case. And what the Daily Mail article did is take these 3 people in the aggregate and say, well, if you combine them all, you have everything. You have pedophilia, you have violence against women, you have communication before the crime, some weird communication after it.
How come this little graph that we got? Come on, Southern. I was really falling in love with this guy, Southern Law. This, when you're making an absolutely delicious and nice graph like this, and you're listing people's official charges and, you know, titles like as in pedophile and attempted Ron Logan, you just have him right there. Violence against women. God, that just, guys, what if Ron never was violent against women? What if that was only used in the search warrant, you know, and it was never supposed to be public, and now people are just being idiots? Man. Logan does have a son. I don't know if his name is Ron Jr., but that's what I'm going to call him. Ron Logan Jr. should be suing the hell out of these guys. And also, I would never touch a piece of pizza if Kagan delivered it to me. You don't want to know what I would do if Kagan showed up to my house with a pizza. Shoving the pizza right up his butthole. That's what I'm doing. I'm not doing any. This is probably my last Delphi show for a couple weeks. Can't do it anymore.
You have people at the scene, the property. You have all the things that you need, that if these 3 guys are together, there are no more mysteries with this. But yet I think that kind of explanation creates more mysteries than it resolves. So let's look at the first piece of this, which is before the bridge. There's only one person showing up here, and that's Klein. And that's because he ran the Anthony Shots account that was communicating with lots of underage girls, but especially the victims in this case. So he was known to be doing that and potentially even setting up a meeting. Boy, is that awful and suspicious. The problem is when you move across, there is no evidence that he was involved in the abduction, and he doesn't match the video of the person on the bridge. There's no evidence he was at the crime scene. So he's not the one who did the murders, or at least not, there's no proof of it. There's just 0 proof of that. After the killings, he shows back up again because he's on his Anthony Shots account, or at least maybe it's him. It's his account that was being run. that allegedly mentioned to someone that, hey, yeah, we were supposed to meet, but she didn't show up, right? So if that happened, that also continues to be suspicious on his part, because he was known to be talking about a meeting just before the murder and talking about a meeting just after the murder. Well, that's terrible. Then, of course, there's a red Jeep rumor that he was confessed to somebody that he was waiting in a red Jeep while the crime was occurring via other people. That hasn't been confirmed to anything I've seen. But the Anthony Shot stuff is a lot more known and confirmed, I think.
That's right.
And of course, he has a terrible character. He's in a jail right now waiting trial on awful things to do with.
He has a totally terrible character. As a matter, he doesn't have a character. He has fake characters that he portrays himself as, and the only thing real about him is he's a pedophile who likes to masturbate and makes phone calls from jail. And even though he's awaiting child pornography charges, he's still sexting people while he's in jail from his chirp device because he's a maniac. He was probably groomed by Daddy Tony for 25 years. Tony Klein, man. Nasty. These guys are nasty. Disgusting, worthless piles of poop.
Minor girls. So he's everywhere you'd want to see somebody on this case as a suspect, except at the scene of the abduction and the crime scene itself. So I just don't think he did it. I don't think he was there, and I don't think he did it. So let's step it down to Ron Logan, because they did a search warrant on him, and he's another shady character. He had a violence against women past, pretty extreme. Well, there was no known evidence that he had been in communication with the girls before.
Well, there was no known evidence about him having an extreme violent past with women either. I just want to point that out. Let's back that up just a few seconds, just a few.
And he's another shady character. He had a violence against women past, pretty extreme.
Okay, so if he has a violence against women's past pretty extreme, that's definitely alleged there. So if he's gonna go on with more information, but he's gonna make sure to say it's just alleged. He should have did that here, because obviously, again, anybody can say anything. Guys, in that search warrant, somebody said that Ron Logan had the same exact fanny pack. If there's no fanny pack, he might not also be a freaking violator, abuser of women. Man. And I just want to point out, though, Southern Law is honestly one of my favorite new channels. I do like them. I'm very upset about this Ron Logan situation. I hope Ron Logan Jr. Let's try to find him. Get Ron Logan Jr. up here.
Well, there was no known evidence that he had been in communication with the girls before the incident took place, before the murders took place. So he's a zero there. But in terms of the abduction, there were two people who told the police, yeah, that looks like him in the little video that Libby took. So, okay, there's somebody who people have said, yeah, I think that could be him. People have said, well, why doesn't anybody recognize him? Well, some people told the police, yeah, I think that's him. In fact, in the search warrant, the police said they had 15 tips about this guy altogether. They also said his phone was pinging in the area around 2:09, which of course is just minutes before the abduction occurred. Well, that's all pretty strong evidence, right? That looks bad for him. One thing that diminishes the phone situation is, of course, his property was there. He lived on the other side of the bridge. So I don't know how exact that was. They were trying to get a search warrant. So they were, that was their objective there, was to get a search warrant, put everything out there against him that they could. Nevertheless, that is bad. However, there was no evidence developed that tied him to the crime scene itself, other than he owns the property.
And just like we were saying earlier, that's literally the only thing that connects him, is that he owned the property. Guys, as far as the violence against women, there is absolutely nothing, not one shred of evidence to conclude that's true. Man, let's start a petition. Let's get our own petition going. Let's lock up Kagan and Rick together. I bet they'll get conjugal visits from Tony in 2 seconds, missing each other too much. That's what I think. All right, guys. I don't know. I'm starting to feel kind of bad. I don't think I'm going to play any more of this. He's doing a great job. I really am happy that he's out here, though, doing the Delphi stuff. Crime Scene in the Courtroom was also doing a really good job, and True Crime Bloke did a great job on that. I seem cynical and I seem really mad when I do these, but there's a lot of people out there who are trying really hard to bring the facts, keep it out there, keep people on the right path, and these are some of those people. I would recommend them in a heartbeat. So let's see here. If anybody doesn't want to call in, I think I might end it here. Let me see if there's anything else in the news really quick, and we'll get out of here. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to type in Delphi murders, filter it for this week. And I'm just going to see if there's anything from the news outlets or anything you guys might want to watch really quick together. Yeah, man. Yeah, man, there's a lot of good people out there, not going to lie. A lot of idiots, too. A lot of idiots. A lot of clickbait. Is this a song? $100,000 views for Mr. Grande. Really hope he sleeps on it, what he was saying about how could all these people defend? I just hate the defense of Allen. God, I just want to. Okay, let's see here.
Well, we turn now to IT mate in the Delphi murders. The suspect in the killings will get a private hearing to convince a judge to use public money for his expert witnesses.
But how much money and what type of experts? IT mate's Richard Essex went looking for those answers.
Allen's court-appointed lawyers don't have the resources that the prosecutor's office has. In a closed-door meeting, it is expected that Allen's attorneys will lay out their defense strategy, which is information they don't want the public to know or the prosecutor.
Generally speaking, the prosecution has the advantage in cases like this because even a small county has more resources than an individual when it comes to waging a battle in court.
Richard Allen's lawyers, Andrew Baldwin and Anthony Rosie, who once argued to have records unsealed, are asking the judge to seal their request for more public funding. In the court documents obtained by IT-Mate, they are asking for money to pay for expert fees, expenses, and investigative costs. In making their argument to the judge, Allen's lawyers will have to identify the experts, how they plan on using the information to prove he didn't kill Abby and Libby in 2017.
They'll have investigators to go out and talk to witnesses. There were a lot of people involved in the search for the girls when they disappeared. There are going to be all kinds of records that have to be collected. You're going to have paralegals assigned to the defense team.
The prosecutor's office is required to eventually hand over all the evidence it has in the murders to Allen's attorneys. But this is not a two-way street. Allen's lawyers don't have to share everything until it's presented in court.
I'm sure one of the first experts they're going to get is a ballistics or firearms identification expert concerning that unfired round that was found at the scene.
You know what, guys? Corzer, Dead City Rats, dude, I agree with you guys a million. I'm trying to see if I have a picture here. And I don't. I do, but it's very small there in the right-hand corner. And actually, that's the second one too, huh? There's two mugshots where his eyes are just piercing, but that one's about the same. There's something about him, guys. He's the guy, man. He's definitely the guy. Look at that. And look at this. Okay, look at that. All right, and look at this. Okay. Okay, look at this. All right, and look at that. All right, look at this. And here we go. All right, see, I'm telling you guys, it's almost not debatable. It's just not debatable anymore. The only thing that is that if there is more actors involved, and if there are, it's most certainly not Ron Logan. That's about it. But
where the girls' bodies were recovered.
Money is the great equalizer for any defense. Allen's attorneys will be asked by prospective experts if they can afford the fees. And the cost of the prosecution is also coming into play. A few weeks ago, the Carroll County Prosecutor's Office asked the county for an additional $40,000 to cover expenses. Crawford is a former Lake County prosecutor, and he believes that Richard Allen's defense and prosecution could cost taxpayers $1 million, double that if the prosecutor seeks the death penalty.
And I'm sure that the powers that be in Carroll County are trying to figure out if they're going to have to float a bond issue or raise taxes to pay for the prosecution of this case. Unfortunately, I feel in Indiana, we don't have a mechanism to help small counties prosecute sensational cases like this.
Raise taxes to get funds to defend the... I think some of these guys might possibly not know what they're talking about. Possibly. Especially when they have to put a toupee on every morning. I don't know how they live with them. Who knows what's going on, guys? Let's look for a couple more before we get out of here. Doesn't look like there's that much. Let's see. Guys, this might be a good one for anybody who's, if you haven't heard of the case or if you're new to the channel, this might be a good case that gives an overview. I do really like Merc Docs. I mentioned them the last show that I had because they had just put out a video on this. I don't know why it's only got 22,000 views. I think Merc Docs has been taking a lot of breaks. I think they used to be really active back in the day, and they kind of put out one video a month or a video every couple months or something like that. So let's see. She's covering 3 cases, but we're just going to go for the Delphi murders today. It's about 11 minutes long, and then I'll play a song, and then we'll get out of here. All right.
On February 13th, 2017, best friends Abigail Williams, 13, and Liberty German, 14, planned to go hiking near the beautiful area of Monon High Bridge Trail, east of their small town of Delphi, Indiana. The day before, Abigail had a sleepover at Liberty's home. Liberty was in the primary care of her grandparents, Mike and Becky Patty. Since school had been closed that Monday, February 13th, the 2 friends had asked Liberty's grandmother if they could go hiking. The girls were granted permission under the condition that they secured a ride to get there and back. Liberty's older sister, Kelsey German, dropped the 2 off on her way back to work at 1:30 p.m., and the girls arranged to be picked up by Liberty's father, Derek German, after he ran several errands, which would take 2 hours. At 2:07 p.m., Liberty decided to begin to record their adventure. They took some photos and uploaded a picture to Snapchat of Abigail smiling as she crossed the abandoned Monon High Bridge. At 3:11 p.m., Derek texted Liberty to let them know to start heading back to their meeting point in order to be picked up. Upon his arrival at 3:14, Derek was dismayed to see that the girls were nowhere to be found. He proceeded to text and to call Liberty numerous times, but received no reply. Derek, now worried, decided to walk the trail to search for the girls. 15 minutes later, without any luck, he called Liberty's grandmother, Becky, letting her know that the girls were missing. The family then searched for the girls on the trail for about an hour, but found no trace of them. As it was starting to become dark outside, the family officially reported the girls missing to the police shortly after 5 p.m. By 6 p.m., a massive search was launched. Authorities and over 100 local residents searched the trail that night. The following day, on February 14th, at around 12 p.m., a volunteer searcher stumbled upon the bodies of Abigail and Liberty near Deer Creek, about a half a mile away from the bridge that they were last pictured on. Authorities have not released how the girls have been murdered, nor if they were sexually assaulted, but they did release 2 compelling images of a prime suspect who they believe may have been the person responsible for the girls' murder. The picture that was released to the public had been bravely captured by Liberty German as she was recording Abigail during their hike. The suspect appeared to be a middle-aged Caucasian male wearing a windbreaker or some type of coat. denim blue jeans, a brown hat, brown shoes or boots, and a brown undergarment, which may be clothing or a fanny pack. 3 days later, on February 22, 2017, another clue was made public when police unveiled a 3-second audio clip of a male saying, quote, "down the hill." This was recorded from Liberty's phone.
Down the hill. Down the hill.
Authorities stated that the audio recording started off as, quote, "normal girl stuff, talking and laughing." But when they saw the man on the bridge, the audio captured the girls becoming nervous and worried. It is believed that the girls initially saw the man while entering the trail and forgot about him by the time that they walked the bridge. When the man appeared again on the bridge, the girls may have sensed an impending danger. At one point, Liberty may have decided to click the picture of the suspect and conceal her phone while doing so at her side in her successful attempt to capture the suspect on tape. It is believed that the suspect was unaware of the phone as it was recovered at the crime scene. A hill is located next to the bridge, which is likely what the suspect is referring to in the audio tapes when he says, quote, "down the hill." The bodies of the young teens were found across the very shallow creek which flows at the bottom of the hill. It is unclear but theorized that, given the shallowness of the water, the girls crossed over the creek and were murdered on the other side. Other theories postulate that the girls had already been murdered and were dragged or carried across the shallow water. In July of 2017, a witness came forward and reported that they had seen the suspect in the area around the same time the girls had been murdered. A composite sketch was created and released, and police stated that the suspect had reddish-brown hair, stood between 5'6" and 5'10", and weighed between 180 and 220 pounds. The eyewitness was uncertain of the suspect's exact eye color, but is confident that they were not blue. In September of 2017, a possible suspect was identified, and Daniel J. Nations was arrested at a traffic stop in Colorado. Nations, a registered
Looks like we're going way back. Way back. Let's see how she covers this case, bringing up all the past suspects. I'm kind of interested what her take is.
sex offender in Indiana was driving a car with expired Indiana license plates at the time of his arrest. Nations was arrested in Woodland Park for threatening people with a hatchet on Monument Hiking Trail. A bicyclist was also fatally shot on that trail around the same time Nations was allegedly threatening people. In his car, a red Chevy Prism, there was a hatchet and a .22 caliber rifle. Nations had a lengthy criminal record, including domestic violence, possession of marijuana, driving with a suspended license, failure to appear in court, and pleasuring himself in a woman's restroom at a gas station. Although he was a person of interest in the case, police eventually ruled him out as the killer. Since February 14, 2017, the day after the girls were murdered, Nations, a registered homeless sex offender, was present for his weekly checkup with authorities and had been consistently attending in the time prior. Nations was sentenced to 3 years probation on January 5, 2018, for the charge of threatening hikers in Colorado. In more recent years,
So, guys, it almost seems as if Merck docs came into this case like the same way that I did. Kind of weird. So I just did some skimming, and it doesn't look like she brings up any other suspects other than Daniel Nations, and then she goes into, Richard Allen and what happened. That's exactly what happened with me. When I first looked into this case and I did my own research, didn't rely on anybody else, that's where I ended up. Daniel Nations just seemed like the perfect guy. So if I was just getting into this case now today, doing my own research, of course, I would be led down the Kleins and the Allen path, but I think Daniel Nations was also always worth a mention. It's just kind of super interesting. I would understand it if anybody else was brought up too, like Chadwell or Kurtz or whatever, I hope this video is going in the right direction. I think it is. I see the bullet right here.
police have funneled millions of dollars into pursuing various leads, sometimes local and sometimes far-flung. And it could be these excess funds spent, which make those close to the case angry that the true killer was under their noses the entire time, working in the very area the girls went missing at a local CVS. Unbeknownst to the public, a spent but unused bullet casing was found in between the bodies of Abby and Libby. This can happen when the gun is cocked and then uncocked and then cocked again. The spent shell casing is dispensed from the gun, although the bullet is
Again, cocked, uncocked, cocked again. Just one cock and then a decock should do it. So it's too much cocks. But I get exactly what she's saying. I'm just trying to be scientific and correct with it, since Southern law took so much time out of his day to teach us the meaning of that. So
still encased. When the shell casing is ejected from the gun, it leaves specific trace scratches and indentations, which can be traced back to the gun from which it was ejected. It is theorized that the killer cocked the gun and used it as a threat, possibly by putting it towards the head of one of the victims or another instantly fatal zone. And in doing so, this may have motivated the victims through fear of their lives to do what the killer was asking. At some point in the attack, the killer must have disengaged the gun, but later would go on to rack it again, most likely to continue those same scare tactics. It is in this subsequent engagement of the gun that the unshot bullet would have been released. The bullet was later traced to a gun registered to Richard Matthew Allen, a resident of Delphi and a husband and father. Also known as Ricky or Rick Allen, the 50-year-old lived only 5 minutes from the murder scene. Allen admitted that the gun was his, that he had purchased it in 2001, and that it had been in his possession the entire time. Allen admitted this information freely, possibly without realizing that there was evidence left at the crime scene. After he admitted that the gun had not left his possession, nor had it been borrowed by a friend, he was arrested. Later, it was revealed that he had admitted to a park ranger in the initial investigation that he had been in that area. The probable cause affidavit, released a few days after Allen's arrest, stated that there was further footage that police have not released that ties Allen to the crime. Those working the case first spoke with Allen in 2017.
yeah, me too, Kanga. Kind of it's stunning how in such a small town how many people didn't know each other, or at least of each other. So it seems like some of the family members knew of Allen, but other than that, like none of those three guys, except for the Kleins, because they're obviously father and son, it's possible they didn't know each other at all. Highly unlikely, and I want to know what the connection is, and I have a very strong feeling that Daily Mail doesn't know what the connection is, but really, really interested to see if they really do have a connection. So when I lived in Frenchtown, Montana, that's about the same population as Delphi. It's probably a little bit less, actually. One of those towns where you have like a grade school, you have a middle school, you have a high school, and then you'll have like a few bars and some, just some small businesses here and there. People do know each other. It is kind of shocking that nobody knows each other, but then again, a lot of these people probably travel to surrounding cities to work. Maybe they just kind of settle down in Delphi and they spend their life in neighboring cities, work. I don't know. I think no matter what, it's a very interesting question. How did nobody know each other? Marissa, so good to see you. There is too much cocking tonight. I'm so sorry. Need to uncock it and lock it. Drop it. Forget about it. I'm just kidding. Hey, Cindy. So good to see you, Cindy. So glad that you're here. We're just about to end it, but man, always good to see you. See, you got 4 more minutes. They're just talking about Richard Allen here.
Claims the affidavit. But Allen may not have been seen as a suspect until more recently due to a clerical error in the tips. But in a later interview, the FBI denies that such a clerical error has occurred and states that all proper protocols were followed and categorizations and filing about the tip about Richard Allen, which was originally received early on in the investigation.
See, that's a very, very interesting point, Dead City. Could they have recognized Allen somewhere? And I think that's very plausible. The thing that I think is that he used to go a few nights a week to the bar. He would frequent the same bar that Anna Williams worked at. I heard it brought up somewhere. I'm not sure who brought it up, but I was thinking, is it possible that, Abby went to work with her mom and, knew of Alan or the family or something? Is it possible that they weren't expecting Abby there? And then Abby, might have recognized Alan because Alan was always frequenting the bar that Anna worked at. I don't know. I think just he's the town pharmacy tech too. Maybe something like that. I think it could be really interesting, man. I wish I knew. Again, yeah, and then again, the premeditation fact. It could be, he planned this. There's a lot of stuff out there. Guess we gotta wait because the sources are not doing any. The sources just aren't helping us out. The sources aren't helping anything, right? They're but just a bunch of idiots.
Was properly handled. Libby's grandmother recalls that Richard Allen, who sometimes worked the photo booth at CVS, printed photos of the girls to be used at their funeral free of charge. Initially, the girls' families looked upon Richard's small act of generosity as evidence of the communal support shown for their daughters. It was only after his arrest that the true, sinister meaning was uncovered. Not only does the shell casing tie Richard to the crime scene, but also Richard reported that he wore the same clothes as in the Snapchat video segments, which the public studied for years to no avail. Richard admits to being on that trail that day, saying that he arrived sometime around 1:30. Around that same time, at 1:26 p.m. that day, witnesses, referred to simply as juveniles, were in the same area taking pictures, and they saw the same man, later shown in the Snapchat footage. It is assumed, based on the geography of the area, that it would take Allen around 10 minutes to walk from the entrance of the park to the bridge. At 1:49 p.m., Abby and Libby were dropped off at that entrance, across from Mears Farm. Shortly before that time, an adult witness, labeled adult witness number 1, traveled to the bridge and saw the man, later identified as Richard Allen, standing on the first platform. Roughly 5 minutes after seeing the man, the same adult witness would turn around and, while walking halfway between the bridge and the parking lot area, see Libby and Abby approaching the bridge.
Wow.
At 2:05 p.m., Libby would upload a picture to Snapchat. At 2:07 p.m., Libby would upload a picture of Abby walking on the bridge.
Every time I hear that, I have the same reaction. I'm like dumbfounded. I'm like, wow, they saw the girls that day right before. This is just, it is mind blowing. Can you imagine that? You see Richard Allen on the first platform. You walk back down the trail and you see Abby and Libby walking the same way. Yeah, look, that's who killed him. The guy who was sitting on the platform. Now, what does that say about the whole bench thing? It's a little weird because now the timing is a little off about the bench, but it'll all make sense once everything's out.
The girls first encountered the man, who is now supposed to be Richard Allen, at 2:13 p.m. This is documented in Libby's video, which astutely shows Abby walking the southeast bridge with the man who they believe is Richard following behind her. As the man approaches one of the girls, she says "gun" under her breath, as documented on the Snapchat video. Shortly after, the man in the video orders the teenagers to go down the hill, as shown in the Snapchat video released to the media. The girls, now under duress, walked down the hill and the video ends. The suspect, in addition to admitting that he was there, claims to have left the park at around 3:30 p.m., according to the probable cause affidavit.
And yeah, and I guess remember, he was there for the girls, in his opinion, Corser's opinion. He knew they were coming there. If you think Anthony Schatz is connected, this has to be the answer, right? No, if this wasn't premeditated and he just went there not planning to kill and he did, on some impulsive behavior because they recognize anything like that, it takes away the Schatz connection. And that just clearly, it can't happen. It can't happen right now. It can't happen yet without more information debunking. But I guess my gut is saying premeditated because if Schatz is connected, that would be the only way, I guess. But man, this case, it's something, it's something that drew me to this case a long time ago. There's so many questions. It makes you wonder so much. It's just so hard to be careful and to go by only the facts that were given. It's so easy to get off bounds and to go down this trail or that path. Man, holy moly.
At 3:57 p.m., a separate adult witness observes a male subject, muddy and bloodied, walking on the north side of 300 North Way from the Monon Highway Bridge. Law enforcement has recovered DNA from the crime scene. Whether law enforcement is sure that DNA that they have is definitively the offender's is unknown at this time. A preliminary hearing was held on November 22, 2022, and the judge has scheduled the jury trial to start March 20th, 2023. Diane Cusick was a 23-year-old woman.
All right, guys. Again, that was Merc Docs. I'll put all these links in the description right now after the show. So there was 3 creators we looked at tonight. Pretty good stuff. The main objective was to go over this Daily Mail article. If you missed it, it should be at the beginning of the show. Man, just a letdown. But we're closer than ever to a conclusion. The Kegan Klein trial is starting very soon. I think we'll all be there following along. Should be good, guys. I think we're in good hands, just very confused hands, but we'll be all right. Oh yeah, let's see here. And on the bench, yeah, I wanted to check that out. Kanga says, hang on, whether he was at the bench or the platform, the girls must have passed him once before Libby captured her video, going on the witness accounts of seeing all of them in order. Yeah, that's what I was like. Whether it's the bench or the platform, it's the same deal. I'm just trying to think in my head if the bench and the platform, if they can be seen at the same time, if multiple people could have seen him at the same time at those places. And the only reason I said that it might not be possible because they saw him on the platform, that only makes sense to me, I guess, if it was the same witnesses who saw the bench and saw him on the platform. I don't know enough because maybe it could have been different witness statements. He was so bold for thinking he could take on 2 teenage girls. Absolutely. Absolutely. If they haven't bungled this initial investigation and investigated him properly, imagine what they might have found at his address or on his phones, computer, or other devices. Yeah, man, for sure. Oh man. So is it March 20th or is it March 1st, guys? When's the court date? Do you guys know? I think the 20th is for Allen. What about Klein? I think we have 2 separate trials coming up really soon. Man. Imagine all the stuff that'll come out too. How does a guy wake up at 50 years old and do this? You imagine he's done a lot of similar stuff in his past. Maybe it'll come out and we'll know. Or maybe we'll find out that the motive behind killing them was a one-off thing and he felt like he needed to kill them for some kind of reason, like being recognized or blackmail, sextortion gone wrong. I don't know. With catfishing and online crimes, the limits are really endless and really scary. Let's see. I doubt anything about the murders will be brought up at Klein's trial. And I think the only reason that they would is for his defense might bring it up. But yeah, I believe you 100%. The only reason it would be brought up is if the defense tried to use it against the prosecution for some reason. I can't even think of why they would, because it makes them look bad either way. But okay, so it's February for the bail hearing for Richard. The March trial was canceled. Okay. And as far as Klein, I'm not sure. Oh, there we go. Thanks, Mancake. For Klein, the pretrial is set for December 22nd. Told you guys it was coming right up. That's literally 1 week away, about 5 days. So cool. Yeah, pretrial December 22nd, guys. Mark it in your calendars. Okay. Let's find a daily reflection. See what we got here today. When I get rich and famous, I'm going to write my own book of daily reflections. They're going to be so funny and inappropriate, but uplifting too. Okay, this one's called A Priceless Reward. Work with other alcoholics. It works when other activities fail. Life will take on new meaning. This promise has helped me to avoid self-seeking and self-pity. To watch others grow in this wonderful program, to see them improve the quality of their lives, is a priceless reward for my effort to help others. Self-examination is yet another reward for an ongoing recovery, as are serenity, peace, and contentment. The energy derived from seeing others on a successful path of sharing with them the joys of journey gives to my life a new meaning. Very nice. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. I think I'm feeling so freaking good lately. I think I'm ready to do streams every single day again. I have a PayPal in the description if you guys really enjoy my stuff. If not, don't worry about it. I really like that you guys are here helping me run the shows because I do this all real time. I pull stuff up without seeing it first. And to have a group of smart, sympathetic, intelligent individuals with me means the world. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Have a good one.
The incredible